Stuttgart escaped relegation from the Bundesliga on the league's final match day, but with inevitable player departures on the horizon, the club is due for a rebuild. What Stuttgart may lack in overall ratings, they make up for with one of the league's best youth academies, captained by Wataru Endo. Most of the highest valued players at the club are 23 years or younger. And with our first youth academy report, we'll review our homegrown talent, Milan Sommer. Already with an overall rating of 68, he would probably be best suited as a center back. But we'll be staying at striker as there are some resemblances in these attributes to Mario Gomez, who is also part of Stuttgart's youth academy. Reviewing board objectives, it seems like there's a big priority on finding the next wave of talents at the club. For domestic success, we look to finish mid-table. And this 20 million budget is definitely going to see a rise. I'm going to start with the most rumored transfers as of right now. Bayern is the top destination for Sasha Kalajdzic, but he'll be staying in the Bundesliga in this save as he departs for RB Leipzig. Manchester United are interested in Borna Sosa as the Erik ten Hag era begins, so it's a move to the Premier League as Sosa joins Leicester City. Pablo Maffeo spent the 21-22 season on loan at Mallorca. It doesn't look like his future is at Stuttgart, so he'll be leaving for 12.5 million to join Benfica. Loan transfers can be risky because in most cases the player is going to return to his parent club at season's end, but Stuttgart did a good job with transfer talks because they included a future fee. Konstantinos Mavropanos left Arsenal to join Stuttgart on loan, and now the club has an option to make the deal permanent for a reported 3 to 4 million. Considering he's evaluated closer to 20 million, it's still unsure if he's actually going to return to Stuttgart, as there is Premier League interest. But at least for this first season in the rebuild, we're going to make the deal permanent for 12 million, which was fairly close to his evaluation in game. There is also a clause in Thiago Thomas's 2-year loan that would allow Stuttgart to bring him in on a permanent basis. That reported fee is around 15 million, and we're going to pay close to that, spending 12.5 million to finalize his transfer from Sporting. With the number of key departures we had, we're going to keep the transfer arrivals going. Philipp Max left the Bundesliga in 2020 to join PSV Eindhoven. While older than players that Stuttgart tend to sign, he's going to add some needed experience and quality to our starting 11, arriving for 20 million. In contrast, this next transfer is very much a player for the future, but Julian Araujo has already generated a lot of interest from top European sides. The LA Galaxy right back was also part of the United States youth international system, but recently made the change to represent Mexico on the international level, stating that he grew up watching El Tri matches and felt like this change is what was right for him. And with Stuttgart having a history of Mexican players in their squad, particularly their 06-07 team that included Ricardo Osorio and Pablo Pardo, this is the perfect transfer for us as Araujo signs for 5 million. I think it's a shame that Stuttgart only start with a 3-star, 4-star youth academy scout, considering top talents like Serge Gnabry and Timo Werner, among others, got their start through Stuttgart's youth academy. To remedy that, we will be signing a 5-star, 5-star scout, spending this first season in Germany for 9 months searching for any type of player. But our Bundesliga season will see it start against newly promoted Schalke 04, and here is the starting 11. I will be alternating between this 4-3-3 defensive formation and a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, which is the same tactic that Stuttgart used in their 2006-2007 Bundesliga winning squad. We'll check results at the halfway point of the season, currently 11th place. Werder Bremen and Hertha Berlin may be in a bit of trouble, and I wouldn't necessarily say that we've steered clear of relegation. But some good developments to the squad. I think the primary focus in January is to add some more squad depth at striker. That will come from the promotion of Sommer from our youth academy. He's already gone up +2 in his rating, now into the 70s in his overall. He'll take on the number 33, the same number that Gomez wore at Stuttgart, and of course he has potential to be special. When it comes to signing players, Stuttgart bring in a fair amount of talent from outside of the top 5 leagues, and the Belgian Pro League is filled with talents. Christian Torsvet is a key player in the Hank squad, 30+ appearances, and in addition to that, he's established in the Norwegian national team. He'll take on the number 8 for us as we mark this transfer for 7.5 million and continue building for the future of this Stuttgart squad. As a result, we will be letting one of the older players in the team go. Daniel Didavi, having played for a number of Bundesliga sides, will be making the move to the Eredivisie, completing the transfer to AZ for 2 million. So this will be the team moving forward. No competitions for us to cover in the second half of the season, just the Bundesliga, and it was a close race for the title, but Bayer Leverkusen come out on top, 70 points from 34 matches played. We will take an 8th place finish, so no European football next season, but we very much established our mid-table expectations. Looking at the relegation spots, it's the 2 newly promoted clubs in Werder Bremen and Schalke that'll go straight back down. Hertha Berlin competing in the promotion playoff final, just like they did in real life. And taking a look at Bundesliga 2, Dusseldorf and Hamburg will see promotion. In said promotion playoff final, Hertha Berlin win 4-2 on aggregate, so they'll be keeping their spot in the Bundesliga next season. An early exit for us from the DFB Pokal, losing out in the second round to Borussia Dortmund. It's Augsburg that win the competition against league winners Leverkusen. Champions League going to Milan. Bayern apparently getting knocked out of the group stage of Champions League and going on to win Europa League. And Stade Rennais will pick up the victory in Europa Conference League. We've made the loan transfer of Thiago Thomas permanent, and it has truly paid off. 15 goals across 34 appearances, double the goals of the next closest players. One of the top prospects at Stuttgart, Mangala, the Belgian midfielder, goes up +2 in his overall and nets 8 assists for the club, which was equal with Furish. And a quick update on Summer, he's gone up +4 in his rating. Not quite ready to be part of our starting 11, but if he continues this sort of trajectory, I think he'll be ready in a few seasons' time. Speaking of our youth academy, we have a number of different promotions, starting with a few that were promoted mid-season. Jonas Muller, a 63 rated German right winger, 81 to 94 potential. On the opposite side is Timo Vogt, a 62 rated player with potential of 87 to 94. And then getting into the end of season promotions, we've got Daniel Koch, a 65 rated center attacking mid, 74 to 94 potential. Meyer, a 64 rated left back, 74 to 94 potential as well. Not too many changes in our board objectives, but overall our plans are lining up nicely heading into season 2 of the rebuild. Only time will tell if the investments for the future of this Stuttgart squad end up paying off, but if you are enjoying the rebuild so far, make sure to drop a like on the video, consider subscribing if you're new around here. Hopefully this is the year we can step up our game and no longer worry about relegation and a mid-table finish, but rather make the push up to qualifying for a European competition. That is reflected in our board objectives, as we have 35 million to work with in our transfer budget. I did promise at least one season with Mavropanos, but when we received a 30 million bid from Manchester United, I felt like the best thing to do would be to let him leave and use some of those funds to bring in more talents to the club, such as turning to some of the relegated sides like Schalke 04. They have Rodrigo Salazar, who again is a very good box-to-box midfielder. Stuttgart do have a history of signing some South American players. Nicolas Gonzalez, the now Fiorentina left winger, is probably the most recent big-name player to come to mind. We'll complete this transfer on a 14 million transfer fee, slightly above the player's evaluation, and that's a lot of funds coming Schalke's way. I would say the Bundesliga is probably the top destination for any talents from the Austrian Bundesliga. And of the teams in that league, RB Salzburg definitely lead the way for prospects. I see Robert being a direct replacement for Mavropanos, can play on the left center back position as he is left-footed. And while the Bundesliga is going to be a step up in terms of competition, I'm confident that Robert can get the job done. I was hoping Araujo would see more growth at the right back position, but because we are pushing for European competitions, I think it's important that we upgrade at that role. Fabian Sintons is part of a Metz side that finished 19th in Ligue 1 last season. I wouldn't be surprised if he transferred to another team in France's top division next season, but with Stuttgart making a number of transfers from this league, I still feel like it falls within the realms of realism. It will be a 13 million transfer fee, so all their rivals coming in are pretty well distributed in terms of funds. One final addition, we're going to add some squad depth at the left back position. As Philip Max is getting older, we want to bring in a player for the future, and I think Jonas Horn could be just that. Our Bundesliga season will again see it start against one of the newly promoted sides, so hopefully we can pick up 9 points from 9 here in August, and here is the new look starting 11. Immediately, you can see some massive upgrades, and I've got to say this is a pretty well-balanced Stuttgart team. One thing I will note is that we went through a position change for Silas. Going from a right midfielder to right winger, it's going to give him a +3 in his overall. We'll see how results are going in January, and to my surprise, we're doing better than expectations. Not only are we currently in line for European qualification, we can qualify for Champions League if we can hold top 4. There's still a long road ahead in this rebuild, and I'm always looking to improve upon our team. This time around, I turn towards players whose contract were expiring at season's end as long as they're 23 years or older. Then you can sign them on a pre-contract deal, practically a free agent. And with Hertha Berlin struggling both IRL and in this save, I feel like Jordan Torunariga might be open to a move to another Bundesliga club. We will have a few player departures, with Forster leaving for Crystal Palace for 5 million and Awudia heading to Blackburn Rovers for 1.75 million. Keeping those transfers in mind, not many changes to the squad we're actually using this season, and we'll catch up on the second to final match day. It's an away fixture against Wolfsburg, and a win here would practically seal us top 6. It'll never be easy for us to get 3 points away from home, but if ever a time to do it, now would be that. We're starting with Koulibaly down the left-hand side, and he will draw a penalty, just the start we wanted, as Wolfsburg pick up a yellow card, courtesy of Soyuncu. Silas to take it, and it's saved from Castells. Got to be one of the top keepers in the Bundesliga, and that was a big stop for him to make. We're going to keep the pressure going, though. Thiago Thomas finding Silas. Could play it across, but goes solo, and it's another stop from Castells. we were all over this defense in the first half. Here, Thiago Thomas taking the ball off of Soyuncu, not having a great match. And this time, we're going to leave no doubt about it. A chip shot effort, finding the back of the net, and that will give us the lead going into the halftime break. Making a substitution in the 63rd minute. It'll be the first time we feature Sommer in this rebuild as far as the gameplay goes, but a defensive mistake as we allow Wolfsburg back into the match. It's Waldschmidt to score the goal. And while 1 point might be enough, I don't want to leave anything to chance. And I'm not sure what was going on with the Wolfsburg defenders there, basically sliding in synchronization. It gave Silas the space he needed to find Sommer on the pass across. Just some clinical finishing in front of goal, and that'll give us the 3 points that we were striving for. Well, it is a good thing that we got the victory because Wolfsburg ended up finishing equal on points with us. Relegation spots going to Bochum and Dusseldorf. For Bundesliga 2, Werder Bremen and Schalke again seeing the rise to Germany's top flight. Again, the Bundesliga club keeping their spot in the league as Mainz defeat Arminia Bielefeld in the promotion playoff final. Some significant improvements for us in the DFB Pokal, making it all the way to the semifinals. And how about Hertha Berlin going from the promotion playoff final last season to now winning the Pokal and securing Europa League next year? As far as those European competitions go, it's PSG to win Champions League against Liverpool, Stade Rennais to defeat Ajax in Europa League, and Athens, a surprise winner in Conference League. Even if he wasn't the most persuading for the gameplay this season, Silas still led the way in goals, 15 from 38, and some huge numbers for his overall growth, going up +8. That was partly because of his position change. Thiago Thomas actually leading the way in assists. And during his loan spell, Julian Araujo did quite well. A move to La Liga seemed to be the right fit for him, and maybe he can compete to be our starting right back next season. A slight uptick in our manager rating as we head into Season 3 of the rebuild. We've got some decisions to make about our starting 11 as we embark on a new season with Stuttgart. First off, we have the pre-contract player arrival, and we now have 3 center backs competing for 2 starting 11 spots. But for board objectives, it appears that upper management would rather us focus on signing forwards. For domestic success, looking to again take a step up, this time qualifying top 4 and making it into Champions League next year. And for continental success, not surprising that the board wants us to win Europa Conference League. Here is a look at our group stage opponents. I don't think we'll have much trouble advancing, but you never know when things get into the knockout stages. Again, a rise in our transfer budget, roughly 75 million to work with. And we'll start by signing another center midfielder. All the players that I brought in up to this point just didn't reach the potential I was hoping for. So now I figure may as well bring in a player who already has a good overall rating and also a good potential. With Ivan Ilic, the Hellas Verona midfielder is looking to take the step up to European competitions, and we can offer him that. It's going to be a 42.5 million transfer fee, breaking whatever records we set before. As far as a backup goalkeeper goes, Sven Ulrich is a former longtime Stuttgart player. Now plays a backup role at FC Bayern, but as he gets older, I think a move away isn't too unrealistic as he returns to his original club. His transfer fee was actually under $1 million, and he had his contract expiring at season's end. There's one departure to talk about. I felt like Koulibaly has done enough to earn the starting left winger role, so as a result, Chris Fulrich will be heading over to AS Monaco for 30 million. One of our backup strikers, Mateo Klimovic, will be joining Hertha Berlin for 5 million. And a promising player, but unfortunately doesn't have one of those silhouettes in game. It's Alexis Tabidi joining Liverpool for 5 million. With the arrival of Jonas Horn last season, Clinton Mola didn't feature at all, so he'll be returning back to England as he joins Watford for 3 million. And the final transfer will be Pascal Stenzel going to BSC Young Boys for 1.75 million. Another season for Stuttgart, and this time we've got European competitions to think about. Here's our new look starting 11, still yet to sign an attacker, but I feel confident in our current players and our ability to qualify for Champions League next season. Updates coming through in January 2024. It's a close race for top of the Bundesliga, but we find ourselves third and top of our Conference League group. Panathinaikos will be advancing alongside us, but things went more or less as expected. No changes to our starting 11 though, just a couple of morale issues, but hopefully that will be fixed with time and good performances starting in the round of 16 of Conference League against Club Brugge. 0-0 result in the first leg, but at home, we secure the 2-0 victory, advancing 2-0 on aggregate and up against Nice in the quarterfinals. Pretty much identical to what happened in the round of 16, scoreless in the opening fixture, but we get a 2-0 result in the second leg, putting us through into the semifinals up against Fenerbahce. And this time we'll win the first leg 2-1. A 2-2 draw in the second leg means that we advance 4-3 on aggregate, and we'll end our season in the Conference League final against Fiorentina. This match does hold some importance because it can be the first silverware that we win so far in the rebuild, but it won't do so much in terms of stepping up in Europe, as we've already qualified for Champions League courtesy of a top 4 finish in the Bundesliga. But I will go ahead and say it now, this may be one of the most entertaining fixtures we have throughout the rebuild. Fiorentina is actually a club I like a lot. They were the Serie A save I did last year in FIFA 21, and they've got some great players still. We're going to go ahead and open up the scoring with Thiago Thomas just 7 minutes in. And in the opening couple of minutes, it looked like we would be the side in charge. All momentum was going our way as we get another chance in the 13th minute. Silas with enough pace to play that one across to Thiago Thomas again. Right place at the right time, and we've doubled our lead. But this is where things are going to change a little bit. Fiorentina, some quick passing play, and it is Brian Cristante, the center mid / center defensive mid, to push up into the box and cut the deficit in half. We're just shortly before the halftime break, and this is a reckless challenge from Anton and a silly challenge from my end. There was no reason for me to go with the slide tackle there. I know he was probably the last defender, and as you might be expecting, it's going to be a red card. So we've got a whole nother half to play with just 10 players. And Fiorentina certainly made the most of having a player advantage because they were going on counterattacks time after time. We were talking about Nico Gonzalez not too long ago. He is going to get the tying goal, making things 2-2 in the 50th minute. We do try to get on the offensive, and it's Thiago Thomas to get his hat trick in the 72nd minute. No one was going to stop him in this match, and it's a good thing because clearly we were going to have our struggles defensively. It's Cristante again, this time with a long shot effort, getting his brace and getting the leveler just before the end of regulation. We're into extra time, and the 101st minute, Cristante going to get his hat trick. This is what I mean. This was a ridiculous fixture from a neutral perspective. Just so many goals, and fortunately, we will be scoring one more courtesy of Sommer. That will bring things 4-4 and into penalty kicks as things end level after 120 minutes. I actually don't remember the last time we had a penalty kick shootout, and things early on go in our favor as Fiorentina missed their first one. Thiago Thomas, no doubt about it, with a green time finish. It's Sommer to take the next one, and the nerve on him to go top right and still converting it with a yellow tide finish. Fiorentina doing a good job of keeping things close, but we're doing our job as well. Silas with a well-placed corner penalty as Endo, our captain, green times it, but he is going to have his efforts saved. Fiorentina with a miss, and that means Philip Max, one of the first signings we made in this rebuild, will give us the winning penalty kick. 4-3 is how things end, and one of the most dramatic ways to secure our first trophy in this rebuild so far. I'm not sure how long Endo will be in our starting 11, but I'm glad he had the opportunity to lift at least one trophy. We'll recap all results. We already know how the top of the Bundesliga ended, but in the relegation zone, it's Hamburg and Werder Bremen. It's just these newly promoted clubs have a hard time staying in Germany's top flight. For second Bundesliga, Arminia Bielefeld and Bochum will be seeing promotion, and this time, Nuremberg actually get the win against Bundesliga side Schalke 04. Heading into the DFB Pokal, we saw a quarterfinals exit to Borussia Dortmund, who went on to win the competition against RB Leipzig in the final. Manchester United defeating PSG in Champions League. Manchester City getting the dub against Chelsea in Europa League. Of course, we got the win in Conference League. And Silas again leading the way in goals, 18 from 50. Thiago Thomas right behind him. For assists, our new signing, Illich, doing quite well, going up +4 in his rating and double digits in his assist numbers. And I think a lot of you will know how effective loaning out players is. Timo Vogt has been part of our youth academy for a while, but I struggled to get him out on loan. Well, all of a sudden, he's seen a +12 in his loan spell at Lille, so now he's in contention of being in the starting 11 or substitutes. One final addition from our youth academy will be a backup goalkeeper for the future in Nicholas Walter. But you can't ask for much more, an 88 manager rating in Champions League football in Season 4. There are both advantages and disadvantages of winning Conference League. We've secured Stuttgart's first European Cup, but on the other hand, other clubs around the world are going to try to sign some of our players. And as we head into the board expectations, we need to sign at least one crucial first-team midfielder or forward, and a sharp rise in domestic success as we try to win the Bundesliga for continental success, attempting to reach the semi-final of Champions League. Here is our group. It's Manchester United, Porto, and Dynamo Kiev that we'll need to get through first. For transfer budget, we have about 120 million to spend, and it was a matter of time before Bayern tried to sign some of our players. Thiago Thomas coming off that hat trick in Conference League. We ultimately settled on 150 million, practically doubling our current transfer budget. In addition to that, Baez will be going to fellow Bundesliga club Leverkusen, Ito heading to Augsburg for 3.5 million, and finally Clement going to FC Utrecht for 2 million. Stuttgart have loads of youth academy players that have an exceptional rating in FIFA. I was just waiting for the right opportunity to sign them. And with Antonio Rudiger getting older, I wanted to sign him before it was too late and we see a sharp drop in his overall rating. I kind of like the storyline of his return back to Serie A and joining up with Inter, but we're going to mark this transfer fee for 70 million. Not all that more than his current evaluation, and that's going to considerably improve our defense. Also, with Santon seemingly locking down the right back role, at least for now, I figured we sign another Mexican talent in Edson Alvarez. He's transferred away from Ajax to join Napoli. This transfer was slightly less than the Rudiger deal, 65 million to bring him in, but I wouldn't be surprised by the end of this rebuild, he reaches a rating in the upper 80s. We've got a new competition to begin our season, the German Super Cup, going up against both Bundesliga and Pokal winners Borussia Dortmund. We do get the better of them, picking up the victory 2-0 courtesy of a Silas brace. Here will be the team sheet moving forward. Rudiger taking on the captain's armband. I feel like it's the right thing to do, as less and less of the original Stuttgart players are in the team. But we'll see how things have gone up until January. We find ourselves third in the Bundesliga, so very similar to previous years. And also advancing out of our Champions League group, 11 points from 6 matches played. It wasn't really a close contest between us and Porto, and I don't think it's surprising that United finished first in the group. To my surprise, we actually saw some players like Rudiger rise in their overall rating, so clearly we're in good form as we head into the Champions League knockout stages. Starting against Real Madrid in the round of 16, a 1-0 result in the first leg and 2-0 in the second leg, holding Real Madrid scoreless and putting us through to the quarterfinals against PSG. Lionel Messi still going strong as he opens up the scoring to help PSG get a 2-0 result in the first leg. 3-0 in the second leg means that we will see an exit from Champions League, but we still have a match to feature with still one Bundesliga fixture remaining and a DFB Pokal fixture next week. A win here would put us on the path of potentially completing the treble and, more importantly, helping us secure our first Bundesliga title. Goal differential is something that we'll need to think about. Hoffenheim 5 goals behind us, but the most important thing is that we get the winning result, and Sommer, he scores these kind of goals time after time. He wasn't the best on the ball, but when you give him chances in front of goal, more often than not, he's going to put them away. Not too many highlights in this match against Bochum, but Silas will get the second goal in the 66th minute. A crucial one at that, pretty much ensuring us all 3 points, and it was really helpful because Bochum ended up getting a late charge here in the 77th minute. They do pull one back, but that was never going to be enough. Our defense held strong, and we will pick up the 2-1 victory. Antonio Rudiger returning to his former club and back to the Bundesliga, and clearly he's helped make the difference as Stuttgart are once again champions. This is what I mean. Hoffenheim also got the win on their final match day, so we really needed to get all 3 points there. For the relegation zone, it's Nuremberg and Bochum that will see the drop. Hamburg returning to the top flight alongside Greuther 4th, and Schalke winning the promotion playoff final against Augsburg to join them. Unfortunately, we couldn't quite get the treble as Leverkusen defeated us in the Pokal final. It was goals from Malen that gave them a 2-0 victory. Recapping the Super Cup, we of course saw that 2-0 win against Borussia Dortmund. Quarterfinals exit in Champions League with Roma defeating PSG to win the entire competition. Bayern München again getting the dub in Europa League against Leicester, and Hoffenheim will get Conference League. Silas again leading the way in goals, 28 from 46. Good contribution though from Sommer in what has been his first season as a starting striker. Thought it was fitting that both Thomas and Sommer shared the Golden Boot Award in the Bundesliga. For assists, Vogt broke into the starting 11 and went up +6 in his overall, leading the club in assists. And despite all our achievements, we still saw a drop in our manager rating down to 64. With the Bundesliga now checked off, we'll turn our attention to some of the other competitions that we're still yet to win, like the DFB Pokal and, of course, Champions League. And I need to make sure I'm doing enough for our board objectives to not get the sack for domestic success. We do actually have expectations to win the Pokal and finish top 4 in the Bundesliga, also winning UEFA Champions League. For the group stage, I wouldn't consider this easy opposition. I believe Juventus and Porto are both capable enough to finish top 2 in the group, so we'll need to get some good results and utilize some of this 150 million remaining in our transfer budget. We've signed a couple of right backs throughout this rebuild, but I wanted to make sure we sign at least one American talent. With Stuttgart's coach Pellegrino Matarazzo being an Italian American and managing one of the more high-profile clubs as far as U.S. managers go, I think he has a little bit of leeway in signing players like Serginho Dest. We're going to complete the transfer for 55 million, which was a pretty good deal, and we can certainly say that he's going to be our long-term right-back option moving forward. Another common transfer for Stuttgart is signing Swiss players, and Sturgu is right up there with being the highest potential talents. He's made an interesting move to MLS, joining Montreal. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to reach his peak potential, but he'll offer a long-term center back option for us as he signs for 30 million. Double his current evaluation, but I think it will be worth it in the end. A couple of departures out. I would argue Araujo's best season was actually during his loan spell in La Liga, so he's going to complete the transfer to Espanyol for 20 million. Torunariga never quite broke into our first team, so I think it's best that he moves on to another club as he goes to the Premier League in Leicester City for 15 million. Tommy getting up in age, and he'll join fellow Bundesliga club Freiburg for 5.5 million. We've got the German Super Cup once again to kick off the season. It's against Bayer Leverkusen, and we will lose this one on penalties. They get the better of us 3-1. But I still feel good about our starting 11. The majority of our players in the mid to upper 80s. So things are looking up here at Stuttgart, and I think we can genuinely challenge for Champions League. We'll see if we've done that in January 2026. Top of the Bundesliga, a single point ahead of Leverkusen and Hoffenheim, and also top of our Champions League group. We finished equal on points as well as goal differential with Juventus, but I think we had the head-to-head advantage. No reason for us to make any additional arrivals. We'll head right into the round of 16 of Champions League against Liverpool. It's a 2-2 draw in the opening fixture and a 3-1 loss in the second leg. Liverpool proving to be a difficult opponent, so we'll advance to the end of the season, and we finished 2 points shy of FC Bayern. We can't go back-to-back in the Bundesliga, and for relegation spots, it's Arminia Bielefeld and Frankfurt going down to Bundesliga 2. That league saw Augsburg win the title and Werder Bremen being promoted alongside them, Bochum winning the promotion playoff final against Greuther Fürth on a significant aggregate lead. Third round exit in the DFB Pokal to Bochum, and a surprise winner here with 1860 Munich. I wouldn't be shocked if they're still in the Dritte Liga. I would have liked to have made it to the later stages of Champions League, but it was a round of 16 exit with Manchester United winning the competition in an all-English final against Chelsea. Real Sociedad getting the victory against Valencia in Europa League, and it's Dortmund to bring home the Conference League title against Leipzig. Silas has been our top goal scorer for a few seasons now, and it's great to see that he has exceeded his potential. He's a player with a bright future, picked up the Bundesliga Rookie of the Year award during the 2021 season, but another young player that is proving the difference out wide is Timo Vogt, again leading the club in assists, 11 from 45. Some of our promoted youth academy talents are doing quite well. Muller, during a loan spell at Wolves, has gone up +3 in his rating, so probably good enough to be in contention for either the starting 11 moving forward or as a squad rotational player. But that early exit in Champions League significantly took a hit on our manager rating. We're down to 46, which is right around the margin where you look to get sacked. So next year will be an important one for us at Stuttgart. I don't think there's any question about the quality of our starting 11, but we need to shake things up and look to build upon some new storylines. Expectations from the board similar to previous years. We need to win everything in Germany and also win Champions League. Here is our group. Seems like Juventus continue to be our opponent in the group stage, but we've also got Lille and Viking, FK this time. Transfer budget is similar to last year, 150 million or so. However, we're going to see a big move. It's Silas receiving an offer from Chelsea. With his performances in the Bundesliga, I felt like it was time for him to take the next step in his career and get a new challenge in the Premier League. It's a big move of 175 million. It was apparent to me that we needed a direct replacement, and I wanted to continue building upon the storyline of Matarazzo's links to Italy. His parents were Italian, and Nicolo Zaniolo is right up there with one of the best Italian prospects in FIFA 22. He's won a Champions League title with Roma in this rebuild. Hopefully he can give that experience to us at Stuttgart as he completes the signing for 150 million, significantly more than his valuation, and it's going to take him a long time to actually become a right winger. But our season will get its start against Freiburg. Should be a pretty easy month of August as we continue to make improvements to the Stuttgart starting 11. We'll see how results have gone up until January 2027. We're top of the Bundesliga, 10 points clear of Borussia Mönchengladbach. Also, first in our Champions League group, this time Juventus won't even be advancing out of the group stage. And maybe this time we can advance to the later stages of the competition. Round of 16 sees our start against Napoli. It's a 2-1 win in the opening fixture, a 1-1 draw in the second leg, putting us through 3-2 on aggregate, and it's Liverpool again in the quarterfinals. A 2-1 win, though, in the opening match, and a 2-2 draw in the second leg means that we get our revenge, and we're through to the semifinals against Manchester United. A great scoreline in the home leg, 2-0. However, it's a shocking loss at Old Trafford. They push us to extra time from a 90th minute equalizer, and Matty Cash ends up getting the winner in the 117th minute. That loss to United was a difficult end to the season, but we still have some competitions to play for. We've still yet to win the DFB Pokal, and we have our chance against RB Leipzig. We have already won the Bundesliga, finishing at 29 points clear of Mönchengladbach, so we were the dominant team in the league. And there were some thoughts that maybe we end this rebuild here, becoming, without question, the best team in Germany with both a Bundesliga and DFB Pokal victory. But I feel like continuing this momentum, just one more try at Champions League. I figure if we can't get it done with this squad in 3 seasons, then it's not meant to be. But for now, we'll focus our attention on the Pokal, and it's Sommer to open up the scoring. Just 11 minutes in, Serginho Dest played a big part in that goal, winning back possession. Zaniolo, unfortunately, being brought off early due to injury, and one of our youth academy products, I think that's Moller, getting a chance. He ends up getting a goal and making good on his chance. 2-0 just before the halftime break, and we are in the driver's seat. Sommer trying to win back possession here. He does enough to find Vogt, and the long-range effort just about found the back of the net. Probably would have been goal of the rebuild. But it's Mangala, our box-to-box midfielder, who ends up making things 3 in the 85th minute. A fantastic effort from him and an all-around performance from the squad. 3 goals and a clean sheet, and we can check off another trophy with the DFB Pokal. All focus now is on Champions League. Again, looking at some of these numbers, this has to be one of the most dominant Bundesliga seasons from any team. For the relegation spots, Werder Bremen and Hamburg will be going down to Bundesliga 2. Frankfurt and St. Pauli will be seeing promotion, and it's Augsburg to keep their spot in the Bundesliga with a promotion playoff final win against Hannover. Of course, we saw that 3-0 victory against Leipzig in the Pokal final and that 3-0 loss to United in the semifinals of Champions League. Inter go on to win the competition, Fiorentina win Europa League, and it's Aston Villa to win Conference League. With the departure of Silas, goals had to come from somewhere, and it seems like Sommer is going to be our guy moving forward. 37 goals from 51 appearances. That was enough to be the top Bundesliga scorer, a few goals clear of Thiago Thomas, which is always great to see. Illich, really good numbers as well, 17 assists from 47 appearances, and we have seen a slight rise in our manager ratings, so I'm not too worried about our future now. With how many high potential players that Stuttgart have, I had zero expectations of this rebuild lasting this long. It might even be our longest rebuild of FIFA 22, but we know what our goals are. We basically need to check off a Champions League. Our group will consist of Milan, Benfica, and Copenhagen, and we still have some funds left over from the Silas transfer, maybe even a slight rise from winning the Bundesliga and the Pokal last year. Having exhausted most of our storylines, it's time to bring back another former player in Joshua Kimmich. I don't think he'll be moving away from Bayern anytime soon, but he did have his contract expiring at season's end, and once players start to get to this age, they do consider moving away from Bayern like we've seen in the past. It was a 75 million transfer at the end of the day, which was, of course, below his current evaluation. Just one player going out, Koulibaly. I'm happy with what he contributed to the rebuild in the early stages, but I don't think he'll be part of the starting 11 anytime soon, and there was interest from Spurs, so I figured we may as well accept this 50 million offer. It's a new opponent for us in the German Super Cup, and we end up getting the victory against Mönchengladbach 3-2. Happy to see Zaniolo brought on and scoring the winning goal, so seemingly recovered from his injury, and this will probably be the new look starting 11 moving forward. I've slotted Kimmich in at the center defensive mid position, also given him the captain's armband, as he does have the leadership trait. That means Alvarez is going to move back to center back. It is where he has featured occasionally for Ajax, and it's actually going to give him a +2 in his rating to 89. Our only focus in January is to make sure that we are through in our Champions League group, but it helps that we're also top of the Bundesliga. Some of that good form carrying over to Champions League as us and Benfica we'll be going through to the knockout stages, and most of our players still growing in their overall. There's no question that we're statistically one of the best sides in Europe at this point in time. Hopefully we can get through Liverpool in the round of 16. It's a 1-1 draw in the opening fixture, but we do get the 2-1 win. This time, we get a 90th minute of our own, with Illich scoring the winner to put us through to the quarterfinals against Real Madrid. They get the better of us in the opening fixture, but we bring things to penalty kicks in the second leg, and we again get the better of our opposition. Semifinals against Chelsea, and a 1-1 scoreline in the opening fixture. 3-2 at home. Kimmich ultimately scoring the winning goal, and that will see us face Manchester United in the Champions League final. I think it's the perfect opponent considering they forced our exit last year. But before we get into that match, I'll recap some of the other competitions like the Bundesliga. We finished 1 point ahead of RB Leipzig in what was a very interesting title race, only 3 points separating first and fifth. However, our luck in the Pokal did not continue as we lost out to Leipzig in the second round. Bayern winning the competition against Mainz, but because we won the Super Cup at season start, we still have a chance for the treble if we can win in Champions League. A quick look back at some former players that have since left the club. Silas was a pretty recent departure, but he still had a 90 rating at Chelsea. Also a 90 rating for Thiago Thomas, so clearly we're continuing Stuttgart's history of developing world-class talents. I was expecting more potential from Mavropanos, but he still had a good career, ending his journey at Stade Rennais in this save. And there's something about Bologna signing Austrian strikers. They have Arnautovic in real life, and they brought in Kalajic in this save. Borna Sosa also ended up joining a Ligue 1 side, playing for Lens at an 81 overall. But you know the drill by now. Let's get into the cinematics and play the final match of this rebuild. We have to go all the way back to Season 3 for the last time we played in a European Cup final. That was Conference League against Fiorentina. Now the stakes are different. I've got to say, the first half didn't have the most chances. Really, one good effort from both teams. Ours coming from Mangala, and he should be doing better with that opportunity. 1-on-1 with the keeper, and Vogt unable to get his effort on target, so we're forced to make a change. It's Zaniolo coming off and Moller being brought on. That change proved effective the last time we made it, so hopefully we can have similar luck here. 73rd minute sees a corner kick cleared, but only as far as Correa. He finds their striker, and Manchester United will take the lead in the 74th minute. Not long left for us to get back into this one, but we see a swift response. Sommer playing Moller through. It's saved initially, but a follow-up effort will see us get the equalizer. Still time left in this match to eventually see a winner as we get another effort just a few minutes later. It's Illich playing through Sommer. We've seen this combo a couple of times, and you guys know how clinical Sommer is in front of goal, off the crossbar and in, and that will lead us to a 2-1 victory in this Champions League final. We well and truly get our revenge. I think we deserved to be in the Champions League final last year, so it was kind of nice to get this victory and show that with a little bit of persistence, we were able to leave Stuttgart to a trophy on Europe's biggest stage. This season was the breakthrough year for Vogt in terms of numbers. 35 goals from 49 appearances. Mangala with 14 assists from 48. Our manager rating was in the red for a lot of this rebuild, but we got the job done in the end. Hope you all enjoyed this Stuttgart rebuild. I had a lot of fun making it, and if you have any suggestions for future teams, make sure to leave that in the comments section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, but until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to you all again soon.